welcome to Night of the Comic. If you're a patron, thank you so much for your support. I'm here. We got Jason and Dave.
Hello.
If you're watching, if you're watching the video, you can see that. And if you're listening to the audio version and you're like, video? Yeah, we do video now on the YouTube channel for NOTLP, which is NOTLP Crew. And also there's video. If you're on our Patreon, you can get it there as well. So
killed the podcast star.
To see our handsome faces to go with our handsome voices.
Jason is almost always dressed in a wife beater. If that doesn't make you want to like,
this is a cut-off T-shirt. Right? This is a T-shirt I cut the sleeves off of. So it is not a wife beater.
So we were gonna just take one moment because obviously the world is falling apart. So we thought we had to at least take one moment to address that and to let everybody know that we care about what's happening and that Black Lives Matter. And we all agree, everyone involved in this and every project that's part of our group of creators and contributors, we all care about that deeply. But we also want to provide some form of escape for ourselves and for the listener. So we're going to focus on, like we were talking prior to recording, that we felt like we could spend this entire show talking about the situation in our country right now and how awful it is, frankly, and how close to falling into like true fascism we are right now with Trump calling in the army, possibly. It's awful. So we're trying to do something that's the opposite of that right now. Does that sound
fair? So don't get us wrong if we don't bring it up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a diversion from that.
Yes.
So and I know that Jason sent me some images of some stuff he wanted to talk about.
Oh, there's that. Oh, it's my turn. That's our signal now.
And go.
Geez, you put me on the spot. You're making me shift gears real quick here.
Hold up. Before we get straight into that, this is the first week since, the COVID atrocity that we've had a new Comic Book Wednesday, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe two.
I mean, I'll say from my perspective,
my shop opened on the 20th.
Oh, did it really? Well,
yeah.
But not with new comics. This is the first week.
Yes, he did. Comics. No, he had new comics.
Last week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The 20th.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just woke up. I literally just woke up.
I haven't had any coffee. I just have this water.
I have a coffee, but I've had 3 sips of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but anyway, so I would like to pick brains, and maybe Jason's the only one that has gone to a comic shop.
That has a brain?
That has a brain. But I'm just curious what people's experiences are because we're all in different locations. I still have not left my house. So I did not go to New Comic Book Wednesday. Unfortunately, I did not pre-order my books from my local store. I did not do curbside pickup.
I was nervous. My guy is a very small shop, though. He also is he has asthma, so he's taking some good precautions.
Okay.
I made sure to go late in the day.
Yeah. When
to make sure that
had been already touched a lot and there was lots of
to make sure to avoid the crowds.
Everything.
To avoid crowds. So in the 40 minutes I was there, it was just me and him. There was no one else there.
Yeah.
And he said that it's been decent. I will say yes. Like you just said, the new comic wall was pretty thin, not from people buying them, but because there wasn't a lot, especially a lot of the indie publishers.
Of course.
And I think we may have talked about it on here briefly, but I was talking to him a while ago about it, and he said, indie publishers are going to take a hit from this because with declining sales and no money coming into shops, he has to watch what he orders. And he says, so naturally, I'm going to order more Marvel and DC and cut the indie stuff.
Yeah. Because you can't take the risk.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know who's going to come in and buy
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I mean, I went and tried to buy a little of everything to support everything.
Now, wait, hold on. Let's back up a second. We're talking about like distribution and indie guys getting hurt. It was my understanding, almost at the big forefront of the whole COVID-19, quarantine situation, that I could have sworn Diamond said that they were closing up shop. Is that not
They
true?
weren't closing up permanently. They were closing up.
Okay.
But
For
I
that time
also
period.
know that DC. I mean, it's a good question. I need to look into it. DC said that they were going to start doing their own distribution, which was
Interesting.
kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would change the
I'm curious
face
how
of.
that updated.
Yeah,
Yes, it
me
would.
too. We'll have to do some research for our podcast.
Yeah. We can get your interns on it, right?
All right. Well, that's cool. So what did you end up getting, Jason?
Okay, so I got this new issue of Avengers, and I don't plan on talking about these for a long time. I only picked up that issue of Avengers because it was being advertised as Moon Knight fighting Iron Fist, and I'm a huge Iron Fist fan. Justin and I have had long conversations about this run. Jason Aaron is an amazing writer. This run on Avengers is somewhat lackluster, though, for a whole bunch of reasons. This issue more angered me because it's literally Moon Knight. Now, I saw a bunch of Moon Knight fans on social media flipping out. It's Moon Knight. We're zooming in on the price. Yeah, $3.99.
I was $3.99.
No, that's important. I was curious if prices were going to go up after this. So I'm glad he did.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, that's the same. That's the price has always been.
I wasn't being
But
childish.
it's just Moon Knight. It's Moon Knight going around beating the Avengers by himself. Literally, he's collecting objects. So he steals the Iron Fist. He beats up Doctor Strange somehow. He beats up Thor somehow. To me, it's just all a whole marketing gag, just because they know a Moon Knight show is coming to Disney Plus. So
yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
So the Marvel Zombies variant cover
has nothing to do with the story.
The actual content.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a reason behind it all. I just don't have any interest in the reason behind it all.
Yeah, well, I think the reason behind it all is exactly what you said. There's Moon Knight, buzz. So they're like, all right, let's give him a big spotlight and make him bigger than life.
Okay. Go to Thor, Freddy.
All right.
Ready for Thor.
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
Now Freddy's getting all like dictator-like with these damn image things.
Look at that cover. Who fucking did that cover? Gorgeous.
That's the guy. What's his name? Coppola, Oliver Coppola or something. I can't remember. It's like CO something.
Pretty great.
Anyway, this one's not that new. This came out right before the shutdown, and I wasn't going to the comic shop. Again, Donny Cates has been taking over Thor. He took over for Jason Aaron. I've ranted about this on here before. This was just the newest issue. Here's the big spoiler. It's not a big spoiler. Who cares? It's been out for like a month. So the whole thing's about Thor being like a herald of Galactus, right? And there's this, and he's beating up people. Like Beta Ray Bill shows up, and they're like brothers, and Thor whoops his ass hardcore. Well, then Sif shows up. Anyone who knows history knows that Sif and Thor have like a romantic relationship, and she's also like the Hemdell's position now, like the overseer of the Bifrost. So Thor throws Mjolnir at her. She opens up the Bifrost and sends it to Jotunheim, where Loki's sitting on an ice throne. She's doing that to mess with Thor. Get this. Loki goes over and just picks up Mjolnir.
What kind of reversey upside down world are we living in?
Yeah. And the dialogue in the comic just says, but this is a story for another day. And it just cuts away.
Yeah, that's a good tease, huh?
That was awesome.
That's a cliffhanger.
Yeah. That run I cannot recommend hard enough.
It's like that issue of Spider-Man when Aunt May goes to the door and she opens up she gets that box and it just says from your secret admirer and it says to Aunt May and she opens it and there's a big suction dildo that's like this big on it. Big around. And it just says see
was that
X-Men 69 down there for more.
Yeah, I seem to remember that issue. Yeah, definitely. That was during it was right after they got rid of the Comics Code Authority.
It was that it was a crossover with Jared Leto's Joker.
The other thing, real quick, the Strange Adventures. Dave, I think you in particular would enjoy this.
Okay. I like the cover so far.
Yeah, this is the Tom King, the guy who did the Visions.
Yeah.
And Mr. Miracle.
Isn't Tom King an ex-CIA agent or something?
He was military.
Yeah.
I don't think he was CIA. He was actual military.
I love that speech bubble.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Fun.
Yeah, the whole thing it's the same team, but that guy Mitch. I'm not good with last names. Go to the last name. It's that one.
Mitch
Gerads.
Gerads.
So it's the same team that did Mr. Miracle, which was also incredible. This one, it's hard. I don't really want to give away spoilers because the setup of it is really cool, but the basic idea of it is that Adam Strange, who, if anyone's not familiar with him, he's like DC's classic pulpy, like science fiction guy who gets pulled back and forth from Earth to Ran with the Zeta beam, and like on the planet Ran, he's like this hardcore hero who shows up with like a little jetpack and a laser gun. And he sets up a family and all that. But on this, he comes back to Earth with his wife and daughter, and he's kind of like becoming a celebrity. He's kind of like writing a book and going on a book tour, all this stuff. And then
this with Animal Man, remember?
Yes. Yep. Something happens that a pretty cool twist happens. Like I said, I don't want to give the spoiler away because it literally it happened in there, and I was like, wait, what the hell just happened? But a mystery happens. I would strongly recommend it though if you're fans of anything good storytelling.
And so the interior artwork looks the same as the cover?
Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like there's a artistic movement happening. I kind of blinked my eyes and they're open again for the first time, and I'm seeing consistencies across artwork, both on indie and the big two. And it all seems like everybody's kind of got this pseudo Sean Murphy nod happening. Do you guys?
Very good. Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Dave. Many years ago, when you and I first started even talking. And I remember you're the one who pointed out house style.
Yeah.
And even explained it to me, and I never put it together because even God shows you how long ago that was. The New 52 was still going on.
Dude, we've been doing this show for a while. Wait, or was that on the show, or was that just?
No, that was just our friendship, Dave.
Yeah.
But you pointed out how. I mean, you might be able to explain house style better than me.
I think house style is just basically. I don't want to say generic because that seems like harsh and like negative, but I'll just say generic. It's the generalized style in which a publisher presents artwork. Like it's like your base point, and then everyone works off of that base point. And
I think maybe a good example, to not be insulting, like you said, because it would be in the early 60s when Jack Kirby couldn't do everything Marvel. Stan Lee wanted everyone to imitate Jack Kirby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then everybody's style kind of sort of had those those little bits and pieces in it.
But with New 52, with DC's New 52, the house style was very generic.
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to stand out.
No.
Just do this.
Yeah. It's almost like brand consistency. They're creating a brand for that publisher.
They want people to be able to look at it and say that's a DC comic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas now, like you said, I think they're finally getting brave enough to get away from it.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's a strange concept, you know, and I love him to bits, but I feel like, and I've become, you know, friends with him over the years, and I met him when I was a kid, believe it or not, but like Paul Pelletier,
yep, that's what I think about. You pointed him out to me.
Yeah, consistently gets work from DC because he works really, really well within a house style. And his work just looks like comic book art, you know, like 100% comic book art. And he's an amazing artist.
I think he teeters on it, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's got plenty of style, you know, like
because he started off doing like Malibu comics, like you and Justin pointed out. He used to do, like, back in the 90s, he did Malibu.
Yeah.
And then I think in the early 2000s, he was working on some DC books.
Yeah.
But then the big breakout for me for his art was when he did his Incredible Hulk run.
Yeah.
That was the stuff that was mind-blowing.
Yeah. He got that gig because his work at the time was very influenced by Byrne and Keaton, I think.
That's a very good way. It's almost like a not as cartoony version of like Ed McGuinness.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like a cross between Ed McGuinness and John Byrne.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's very fair. Yeah.
I keep waiting for you guys to put up the name Jim Davis so I can be like, yes, Jim Davis.
You know, Freddy, you say that
when he first introduced Odie, I was like, damn, shit's going upside down.
Very house style to me when they introduced Nermal.
Nermal. Holy fuck. Oh my god.
But the big one I need to talk about, Freddy.
But wait, before you move on, I just want to touch on what you brought up as far as like the premise of this book, and it's interesting. I'm always intrigued by the celebrity of superheroes and the opportunity that kind of provides. But I feel like there are a lot of books that have tried to tackle it, and there are very few that I feel like have effectively, you know, really tapped in what it can do. And I think the biggest of them all is probably Watchmen. But you know, you have like some characters like Wonder Man, for example, where they just keep on trying to do it, and the whole premise of his character is literally that he's more
that he's a movie star,
that he is a superhero, and I love that idea. But
but like you said, did they ever really tap into it?
Yeah, every time they try it, it's just fucking boring as hell. I think people forget Rob Liefeld's Youngblood. That started off as that was supposed to be like this weird skew between, you know, celebrity and superheroism.
Have you watched the Amazon The Boys yet? I haven't read the comics, but they do.
Yeah, that's true.
They successfully nail superhero as celebrity. In fact, it is the most important theme in the show.
Really?
Yeah, and they make it mean
something. Stress it again. Yeah, you need to watch that.
Okay, I will. And then I'll just give a quick little nod to, you guys will laugh because it's a comedy, but it's one of the best superhero movies ever made, I think. It's probably my second favorite superhero movie, just below the original Superman, and it's Mystery Men.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a big fan. It's a great movie.
Yeah. I like how you said you'll probably laugh because it's you should movie trailers, Dave.
But I think that movie, though, it's a comedy on the surface, but it's such a successful superhero movie. I think it's so fucking fantastic. And now my mind just blanked. But the Greg Kinnear character, he looks like a fucking NASCAR driver. He's covered in advertising all over his fucking suit.
Yeah.
And like that is the whole motivation behind doing anything is sponsorship. I love that whole idea. It's so good.
And you will love The Boys.
And you need to watch The Boys.
Okay, all right. So I'll get into it. But like this kind of like it breaks into that concept a little, Jason. Like successfully, unsuccessfully?
Oh,
I know it's hard
absolutely.
to say
Well, I
after
mean,
one
it's
issue, but
too early to tell, but
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
it's him going on book tours, going on morning radio or morning talk shows and stuff like that. And
That's cool.
And
yes, it
we're
is. It
talking
is
about
great, especially
Strange
like I
Adventure.
said, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Adam Strange already, so
Yeah.
to have him get boosted up into the spotlight for me is automatically going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
What's
anyway,
next?
real quick now, the one I had to talk about. Like,
Ah,
are you
Look at those
drawing on
graphics.
stuff?
Look at those.
we'll come back to that.
Oh,
Ooh,
sorry,
what
Freddie.
is
Yeah,
this?
I apologize. No,
Did
Freddie,
you-
go ahead and talk about yours.
Okay. My
What in the
favorite.
Christ is this?
This is something that I stumbled across, which is usually how like I try to find things I wouldn't normally seek out on my own. I just try to stumble across something, and this is one of those cases. This book is called My Favorite Thing is Monsters by Emil Ferris. The artwork is all, well, first, the basic synopsis is it's this little girl living in New York, and she fantasizes, she loves monsters and monster magazines. And she lives in this apartment building where upstairs there's this old Jewish lady, and this changes from this little girl's fascination, you know, of the monsters and everything to a murder mystery because the lady is murdered, and she gets kind of wrapped up in trying to figure out what happened. But really, more above and beyond just the story, the artwork is like phenomenal. Most of it looks like it was done with like ballpoint pen or something.
Yeah, I mean, is it all? It looks like this cover.
Yeah, the whole thing. What
Holy
this?
shit! Oh, this is it's on notebook paper.
It's in a spiral bound notebook.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's fucking radical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Oh my god, who published this? Is this like a Fantagraphics thing?
You know what? I can't remember who the publisher
It's
was.
funny you say that because that was my first thought too.
Yeah.
You can get it on Hoopla if you want to check it out, and then I also know you can buy it in bookstores, obviously, as a trade.
I'm gonna have to get it out.
I hate to be a dick, but you know, there as a from a, oh man, look how beautiful that image is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the letterer kind of fucked it up.
Oh,
I disagree. I like that.
That speech bubble where the letters are almost touching the edge of the speech bubble. It's not
Okay,
properly
maybe the
centered.
T. I'll give you the T.
That's I don't know. I think you're putting poop on a cake right there.
I think you're now you're going too far calling it poop.
Well, the funny thing, I don't know. I almost feel like the artist herself or himself, I'm not sure, may have done the lettering, which is saying something considering, that like you're saying, it's not like everything else is so.
They could have shrunk it. I'll give you that.
It's so beautiful and so articulate to just kind of slap a shitty fucking. It's not a font. It looks like that was hand done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hand done. So I just feel like
that is amazing artwork, though.
Yeah.
And then this 2-page spread.
Wow! Look at that lighting.
The Angry Villagers. Yes.
That is pretty.
Who is this person? Holy crap! This is great.
Yeah, I can't lie. That splash is amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is one of the magazine covers that she reads. And you can see these are like older monster magazines, supposedly, in the story. It takes place in the 60s. So remember we were talking about Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see the Riviera
coming
theater
soon.
coming soon.
That looks great. Dave's right. That artwork is blowing my mind.
Yeah, I can't wait to buy it.
Yeah, it's great. And it's again, it's called My Favorite Thing is Monsters, Emil Ferris. It's really, really cool.
Well, I apologize to the listeners if we bring it up in 2 weeks and start talking about it all over again.
No, that's okay. I wouldn't get into the nitty gritty on it. I haven't finished reading it yet, so.
Okay. Yeah, well, it looks great. I'm excited about it. It's fun to get excited about comics again, just when you think you've seen it all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, Jason.
So never mind. My favorite thing is monsters. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters now
is you.
is Manosaurus.
Manosaurus.
I have those all over my thighs. The
worst.
So, speaking of my last trip to the comic shop, as I've been saying, maybe in private, I don't know if I've said it on here, on the podcast, but how I've been buying a lot of like indie books from like the 80s and 90s, and I found out that my comic shop is a fucking treasure chest full of them.
A Trevor
chest.
Trevor
Whatever,
chest.
you know.
Who's
It's early in the morning.
Oh, Trevor.
I love your chest.
So 40 minutes alone with Trevor.
He has these giant boxes
when no one else
full
is in the store
of 50-cent books. And this was the one I grabbed. These two,
Would
I
you
had to
say it
grab
was
them
a
both.
dollar bin delight? Remember when we used to do
Oh,
those? That was so cute.
we should do that again.
Let's pretend this is one.
Yeah, this is
Welcome to Dollar
well,
Bin Disasters and Delights with Jason.
Well, this is a delight because it's called Manosaurus.
It looks like
It
a
is-
fucking delight.
It is flat out just Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay.
Somehow, I don't know how this guy didn't realize he was just doing the Ninja Turtles.
Maybe he did.
The only issue now is that every page of it, I was reading it and I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like, it literally is a group of dinosaurs that get woken up because back in the dinosaur age, first off, this thing is almost like creationism. It says that humans and dinosaurs existed at the same time. One of the
Freddie,
greatest
you've been to that
things.
museum, right?
Not yet. Andy has. Andy has been more than once, I think.
One of my favorite panels is when they're doing like a flashback of like the dinosaur age. They says, while at the same time another race arose, the human race, and in many ways the mere image of the dinosaur. Yeah, they can process that. The mere image of the dinosaur.
We're not so different, you and I.
So basically, the story isn't like anything original. A group of aliens showed up to take over the world. Well, then another group of aliens showed up to beat them. The group that saved them is called the Preservers, thankfully.
The Preservers.
The Preservers. So they mix human dinosaur DNA and lock 4 eggs away like in a giant thing and bury it in the desert just in case the other aliens show back up, which the main villain's name, of course, is Armageddon.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. Yeah.
So the funny thing to me was it's a group of man dinosaurs that are acting like the turtles, like they're just fighting each other. There is literally a scene where their doctor, Dick King, yes, we can talk about Dick King now.
Before we talk about Dick King, I just want to point out these rock hard abs.
Well, sure, he's a dinosaur.
I love the pose of the guy on the bottom on issue 0. He's got the crossed arms for no fucking
He's doing the X-Force thing. But of course, he brings out a plate of tacos, and it's like out of sight. My favorite tacos.
So you had this in here too, Jason.
Isn't that a great page? Like that page, I especially had to read. Like, what are you? Part dinosaur, part man, all Manosaur.
Yeah, you are.
There are so many great, overwhelming things in this, like when Armageddon shows back up out of a volcano randomly. Hey, now Freddy, now come on now. That's just unprofessional. That is
showing a diagram about movement.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Armageddon just wakes up out of a volcano. They give no explanation as to why.
How many issues of a Manosaur was created?
2. Issue
Only
0
2?
and issue 1.
Oh, that sucks. Because I was gonna say if they made like 20 issues, it would be great if we collectively collected them.
Wait, I think I'm wrong.
A Manosaur minute, every episode.
I'm gonna disappear for a minute.
The next issue.
I'm gonna disappear. I need to look that up because actually I think.
All right. So as we look at this sketch of Dr. Richard King. He clearly has some kind of physical deformity where his legs are proportionately very long to the rest of his body. But in a pinch, he has a pair of gloves. So that's important. And he also has
because he's an archaeologist.
a nail, and a compass. And a
I'll look it up
backpack,
later, I feel.
which I'm guessing those items go into.
It's like a
I
toy.
love that they show that he has gloves.
Is that a spatula?
But you know what's funny about that is the story is like it's just him digging in the desert one day and he comes across like this container with 4 giant dinosaur eggs, and right when he touches them, like this computer thing says, "You have now activated protocol Manosaurus."
Is that when he touched?
Yes.
Like they automatically hatch, and like it's literally he just like, well, I guess I'm their father now.
I have a good idea. I have a really good idea. What if we do a live action interpretation film of the Manosaur? Like we use the comics as a script, and then we make a fucking movie.
I'm on board.
Okay. Yes.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to almost guarantee you that no one owns the rights to these anymore.
No, we don't need any rights to this. We're just
it's it's a passion project.
Coming soon.
That literally, like, I was also like, geez, that kind of sucks for that dude who's just an archaeologist who's trying to find some awesome thing to put in a museum, and he becomes the father of 4 dinosaur men.
Well, it was his destiny. His name is Dr. Richard King, and he was named that for a reason.
I will say that, like, besides that artwork, there's a different artist in issue 1 than there is issue 0. That the artwork is from issue 0. Actually, issue 1 doesn't have horrible artwork.
There were a lot of Manosaur politics that happened between issue 0 and issue 1.
When people refer to the great Dr. King, this is not the one they're talking about.
Yeah.
There is a great scene of Armageddon walking through, like, downtown LA or like the hoods of LA, and he's just like killing, like, these hoodlums. Man, you're thrashing the hood.
You know, you can tell that he sleeps with his students because of this.
Ponytail that consistently stays on his shoulder in every drawing there.
Yeah.
Both the wide angle, like full figure shot, the front shot, the profile, and the 3/4 all have that ponytail just kind of draping to the side. So that is something he intentionally does everywhere he goes. He checks it. He's like, wait, where's my ponytail right now? Oh yeah, it's in the back. I gotta pull that over.
Not to bring down the whole show, but like you were just saying, Dave, about how many issues there were. One of the saddest things that I've encountered when I'm seeking out these little books from, like, again, the late 80s, early 90s, and like this thing is printed on like some nice paper. It has gold, shiny stuff, and like all throughout there, they're talking about how excited they are for it, and then like you look into it and you realize there's only 2 issues of it.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
And it's kind of like sad.
We live in an unfortunate world where there's only 2 issues of Manosaurs.
Yeah, it's one of the great tragedies.
So look, I can make a bunch of excuses. I haven't really read any comics, and that's because I have a new addition to my home.
Oh, okay, here we go. Show it off.
I can't show it off because we're on my computer, so I can't really turn my computer around. But I have a Waterworld pinball machine now.
Oh, yeah, I saw. You posted a picture of that.
Maybe.
Mine,
you sent it to us.
Or you sent it to us. That is...
So it's literally in my studio here, in my office. I'm looking at it
Have you got to play with it?
Yeah, oh yeah, I play it all the time. It's kind of broken.
Just the movie was kind of broken.
There are a few mechanical pieces that don't work, but you can actually still play the game. But I've been like spending all my time and money on like buying new parts for it and finding new parts across the fucking world, to be completely like I'm ordering shit from Germany and like California.
I think it's very sweet that you're putting that much love into a nice pinball machine like that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to completely like refurbish it and like get it going. And it's kind of fun. Like, COVID-19, you have nothing else to do, right? So I'm just watching endless like, because there's giant pinball communities. I'm just watching endless tutorials on how to fix your like pinball machine and like all the different.
A friend of mine, that's what he does. Like that's his passion.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
If you want, I have to introduce you guys because I feel you would hit it off, especially over this, because he also knows people in the pinball community might be able to help you find parts if you need it.
Yeah, that would be fucking amazing. I would much appreciate that.
It's
really fun because, like,
does your Kevin Costner drink his own piss?
I wish he did. I wish there was like a little figure that popped up out of the play field, and then he goes, multi-ball, and then he sings back in.
Oh man!
Yeah, that's been all my time and nerdom lately. Is this pinball machine, and I love it.
I don't blame you. That sounds awesome, especially something as specific as Waterworld.
Yeah, and then I can grab it real quick. Mario.
He did just leave in the middle of a sentence.
Mario brought this over to me. It's a boxed.
Oh wow!
The ship that fucking Kevin Costner rides.
I didn't know they made toys for Waterworld.
Oh yeah, there's a whole fucking toy line.
There's video games,
everything. And this is like the monster of them all. So I have this up on top of the head of the cabinet. It's like a display. We
were talking about doing a theme on the main show for Cursed Films, and I brought up Waterworld. I was like, if we ever do that, Waterworld would be a great candidate because of the shit they dealt with making it. How many things went wrong? Plus, it's an excuse to watch Waterworld again.
Yeah, I have it on Laserdisc. They just did a Arrow video of all publishers put out a Waterworld Blu-ray. Maybe 4
really?
months ago or something like that. Yeah.
Arrow does some good stuff.
Of course, it's sold out and it's stupid prices if you want to get it now. But every once in a while, you can find one. Like most Arrow videos at reasonable prices.
I have to go do my day job, unfortunately, which means that I have to close up the show right now. But we were going to talk about Nada most likely on a future episode, which is the comic based on 8 o'clock in the morning, which in turn inspired They Live, the John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
Pipe. Yeah. But yeah, I gotta go make that cheddar.
All right.
Keep the wheels spinning. So
all right.
We'll see you guys soon.